Yo, good evening or good afternoon, wherever you at. This is Don Armando's Open Topic with Don Armando, and I'm your host, Don Armando. So tonight we're going to talk about the attack on Russia and what what could have been done. What's the Russian culture is like, and does this mean anything to Putin? According to ground news, um, whatever people believe, according to ground news, Putin is putting the blame on that deadly attack that happened in this country on the Ukraine. So I don't know if that's propaganda on his part or what had happened right there. So I'm just reading, but it's actually a topic that we could actually talk about because similar to what had happened in Russia, you had certain people in the United States a, a few years back that actually, well, I guess in several places, but there was one case in particular in Las Vegas where a man who was actually, I guess, mentally deranged or in that matter, went and proceeded to commence an attack on Las Vegas, and he actually went up and unalived himself. So I don't know what is the case, but they have said that a lot of people were unalived during that attack in Russia. So my prayers goes out to the people that and their families that they were victims of this act. But then again, we don't know what the real story is actually being since the special operations is actually going on. So it's just something to think about. To me, I actually think is a first because maybe I'm may not be knowledgeable enough, but I don't really hear of any mass boomings happening in other or mass pew pew happening in other countries except maybe with the exception of Canada, um, the United States, and Mexico. So, and I haven't heard anything of mass pew pewing in Japan or China or in Europe. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe a person could actually present cases that it happened. But it looked like that massive pew pew that actually happened in Russia is actually unheard of. So forgive me if I'm using the word pew pew because that's what I guess people have said are saying. So therefore, their videos won't get demonetized. But it's actually something that is actually on my thoughts because certain people are saying that Ukraine was to be of this or whatever. So during the time that this is the special operations that Russia, that's what they call it so, are doing, why would this massive happening would actually happen in Russia? Is it used as a propaganda tool or Russia, the Russian borders are that weak or whatever that you have infiltrating agents that want to actually stop the war. So it's actually something to actually think about when you thinking about stuff of this nature happening in a country that's actually in war. So what's your thoughts about it? Hey, Jose, how you doing? I mean, I guess my real name has actually been on Twitter and everything like that by a certain cretin, which he's not gonna get any fame around here because at the end of the day, we actually big up real people who are actually doing who are actually contributing to society, not the ones who are not contributing and speaking ill of others. So it's something to actually think about. And Jose, you're actually welcome to come on the panel so we could actually talk about this because I don't know if it happened on Thursday or Friday, the attack that happened in Russia, but maybe I'm wrong, but I never heard of stuff like this actually happening in Europe, so to say. So it was actually shocking just to actually read that as a news headline. Good evening, Do Jose.
Good evening, John Armando. Thank you for allowing me on your platform.
Yes. So, well, I just wanted to talk about was the attack that happened in that Russian theater, and my condolences to anybody, to all the families that are affected by this happening. So, what are your thoughts? So, what are your thoughts about this incident that actually happened in Russia, Moscow to be exact?
To be honest, I'm not aware about. I do know there's a war between Russia and the Ukraine.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible situation because always in war, there's always innocent victims that are killed and things of that nature. To be perfectly honest, I have not been following it too much. I try not to follow the news that much because it seems like there's nothing but bad news all the time.
Yes. But other than that, how's everything with you? Don't say how's Parkchester?
Oh,
Any new
fine.
restaurants open?
Actually, believe it or not, they open a Chipotle's right on Metropolitan Avenue near the 6th train.
Really?
Yes.
So therefore, still the Boston market is still there, or the Chipotle's took that over?
No, what happened was there was another business right in the corner on the bus stop. So
Right.
Chipotle's just opened up a new restaurant. I just did a stream on my other channel called Latina Diaspora, which I haven't aired any content for a long time. I just got on and did a short stream just to give an introduction of what we're going to be doing on my other platform.
Right.
So
So it's
yeah,
like, yeah. So I mean, like me personally, I haven't really been doing it because I've been busy working and everything. But I'm like, yo, this one thing that I've seen, which is this week, is that certain people are very delusional, right?
yes.
It's even to the point that this person is actually mentioning my real name and putting something nasty behind it, like I actually met this person. When the fact is, it's like I never want to meet a person who actually is rumored to actually engage in creep activities. And I'm not going to
Hmm.
go around and elaborate further because this guy is actually a creep. But to go and try to use my actual government name for just to for childish insults and saying that, oh, that I live in the slums and everything, that joint is actually laughable because at the end of the day, I'm like, I can live anywhere. But guess what? A person's a person's deluding is actually trying to project to the people that this person actually knows me. Like we actually were buddies once upon a time. But the fact is, I never met you, and I don't want to even meet you.
Well,
And it's like,
remember, this person was talking about trying to get me terminated from my job. So all I can
I
say
mean,
is, yeah,
but the thing is, though, Jose, this person has a history of doing this because prior to, from what I've heard, right,
hmm,
this person used to, when this person used to be, I guess, trying to break in acting, right? This
yes,
person allegedly actually tried to say that he was SA'd by the late great Michael Jackson. So therefore, he could actually get his career up and rolling. And then when that did not happen, this person was doing what he's doing towards other content creators now. He was actually going on the big scale and he was actually harassing, allegedly harassing Chris Brown and Raz B. So
hmm,
I guess since something happened because certain people have, I guess, a lot of money more than us, this person decided to actually go and do this as a full time sport on other people that he would think that they don't have they may not have money to actually procure a lawyer or so forth, and allegedly this person has a history of filing false police reports against people and swatting also.
yeah. Well,
So
I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we have people that do this type of activity. I mean,
right,
you got their kicks off, your kicks doing things like
shout
that.
out to Nina, yeah, right,
Pretty, you know. But the fact of the matter is, sooner or later, you sow what you reap.
I believe that.
Okay,
Hmm.
because when you go around trying to solve problems and make false accusations and have it, what happens is that it backfires on you.
Yes.
I mean, sooner
I
or later,
mean,
yeah,
it's funny on how it's backfiring, and then on top of it, the person is actually using my government name and saying a lot of whack insults towards me and my spouse. I mean, it's to the point, right? That I'm like, what is your end game? You want to, and then on top of it, you saying you want to go on people saying, "I'm going to get the law involved for what?" I don't know you, and we don't care. I'm a content creator. I do what I got to do. I never met you, and then on top of it, let's be honest. Who actually gonna go and stalk a man for a whole year just because you're with somebody that you think that you want to jumble up people just because you don't like one person? You're like, oh, okay, we're gonna go after everybody. Then you want to go and try to go at certain people that I know that don't speak English on social websites to say a cockamamie story, which has no validation whatsoever because I only I never been to any of these regions ever. So therefore, why would I go and say anything for that matter? I mean, it's even to the point that now this person actually said that this actually this person is actually trying to speak lies on our brother on Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Our brother
yes,
in Christ, Georgia. And it's to the point that I'm like, okay, I'm like, let's be honest, right?
hmm
Like I've the places that I've been to, which I remember, right? I've been
hmm
to Texas when I was a kid. Never been to the West Coast, and never been to Ohio.
hmm
So my thing is this: if a person is gonna go and make up a cockamamie story, and just because the person has our actual government names, because whatsoever, and then they want to try to project to people that, oh, that you know me for a long time, when the fact is we don't even we will never even hang out with you if it was even in real life. So what is your end goal? What is that person's end goal? You want to try to put somebody in jail? You want to try to stop their voice, or do they want you want to stop their content or something like that? I
hmm
mean, I've had crazy stalkers back in the day, and me personally, if a person wants to go and try to do all that, and then this person actually has a history of allegedly actually have a history of stalking men and women. So why the person is actually doing that for is beyond me. But at the same time, go try to do that to somebody that you think that could be your match. Because 9 times out of 10, certain people are not to be played with, and you don't know if that person has relatives or other things. So a person want to go and try to disregard all that, then want to try to go on social media and try to talk to somebody that does not even have speak the same language as them to go and speak a lie about me. I mean, me personally, I already know what is actually in my case is two parts of the origin. What it is. One part of the origin is that last year I was on another content creator's page, and then the person, and then we had like a good talk. The next minute, this person is accusing me of being another person, so I blocked them. So after I blocked them, that person went up and made another account saying, "Oh, I'm going to make a report on you." Okay, so I blocked them because at the end of the day, what the heck, I'm going to care. So that person went up and linked up with somebody that I don't care for, because me and that person actually had a personal beef because he said disparaging things about my wife. So now he actually went on your page. This person actually went on your page and revealed that he knew it and everything like that, saying, "Oh, I got exposed. Exposed for what? I mean, if anybody knows, I jokingly actually said what I did and whatsoever. So what the heck they're gonna do? They'll go, we expose you. You expose my real name. The only time I actually spoke my real name was actually on another content creator's channel. So with that, you want to go say, "Oh, you exposed," and then on top of it, you want to go talk like we know each other. When the fact is, we never did. So I don't know if that's fanboyism or, in certain aspects, certain people are just jealous of other people because they're happy. Either way, I don't really care because I'm still doing me, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't care what anybody actually has to say about what I'm doing because I'm trying to push positivity and I'm trying to push knowledge. I'm not going to go
Mm-hmm.
around and say I'm the smartest person, but I like to learn from other people too. So
Yep.
what I'm going to learn from a person that's actually constantly bickering with other people, that's negativity down right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? What's just as easily insane is starting beefs with people, and their only crime, if you want to call it a crime, is that they're cool with the people that you have beefs with. I mean, we
Which,
both
which to me is immature. That's what people
exactly.
do. That's what kids do between between kindergarten, middle school, and high school. People are supposed to grow out of that, but apparently certain people have.
I mean, look, I I mean, just simply because I'm cool with certain people,
Right,
I have been removed from the discourse of two people. Okay.
right,
And another one, you know, and made threats about having me lose my job when I have not said
right.
one thing regarding the individual in question.
Exactly.
The only thing I'm going to say is good luck, because the fact of the matter is, I have a government job, and basically, there's a lengthy process for a person to be fired, and I have a union that's going to support me. So it's like, if you want to try, you can try, but
Exactly. And then what was funny is that the person went up and tried to make a sexual innuendo, and while trying to say that I live in the slums of Philadelphia. Okay, so what is considered a slum? To this is what I'm saying, because areas have different places that they call the slums or whatever, right?
mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if a person's a homeowner or whatever have you, is that really considered a slum? Or better yet, is that actually considered anything bad because certain people have their problems and everything? I mean, let's be honest. You have certain people that they want to actually convey that they actually live in an affluent neighborhood. But yet, that person allegedly has been evicted 5 times out of their residences or actually have a history of that. So, for a person who actually has that background of being evicted, who is that person to actually say, oh, that person lives in the slums and everything or whatsoever?
Mm-hmm. Well,
It doesn't make
unfortunately,
sense.
yeah, unfortunately, you have certain individuals who love to project.
And it's like all I've seen is projection. And when a person actually has to go and if you're having a discussion and that person actually has to personally insult you, that means that they already lost.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. But you see, the problem is you have certain individuals that cannot debate logically. They cannot articulate um, their point of view without being personal. When you're unable to do that, you automatically lose the argument.
Yes.
But unfortunately, here in these YouTube streets, we have people which I call the circus. Okay.
Yes. Talking about that, there was a guy, right?
Yeah.
That he was actually on the other platform that's called Kick. So it was this guy and this little kid. They were actually arguing back and forth, and the little kid went and made a comment about this other content creator's girlfriend or whatsoever.
Yes.
The next thing you know, this guy, I guess he got kicked off of Kick because he said that, oh, I'm going to dox you, right? And then he was actually referencing SA to the little boy because that little boy got him mad, and he says, "I'm gonna SA you so and so." So my thing is that if you have a guy who's like a famous I guess streamer or whatever have you, or a content creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about as as a it was not even like, okay, like when you get heated, you could go around and say certain stuff, right? But you say certain stuff like, okay, this, that, and the third. This guy actually went on Kick, right? And I guess he got so mad that he said that he was going to SA that little kid, and he went and he said it in a graphic way. Now, not only that this guy got mad that he went up and he said it to a boy who was like around, he could be a little, maybe 13 or 10. But to go and actually say that on air when you were actually mad, it actually raised questions. First of all, you think that that person is gonna be you think that person is going to be okay for a person to actually say that? Hey, you might each actually have thoughts about saying that, right? Number one. Number two, everybody gets mad, but yet you're gonna go around in graphic detail talking about how you're gonna go and SA a boy live on a live stream. Number two. Number three, if a person actually said that as a way to go around and punish somebody, that person might have actually tendencies of doing that. And number four, like if this content creator actually has a, a girlfriend, and if they're thinking about making a life and everything like that, for him to go around and say that he's gonna go and SA a kid on live stream, and let's say y'all gonna go and make a future together, what does that entail if y'all have children? It's like is I was saying that anybody that actually has a thought to say that as a insult or a retort, I think that person, you just got to go around and protect your kids a little bit more, because if a person's going around and saying that and insulting another person with, oh, they're going to SA them, I don't take that as a joke, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, some people just have a bizarre sense of humor.
Yeah. I mean, I do too, but it ain't gonna be to the point that I'm gonna go and talk about SAing a person, and then on top of it, when the person's saying, "Oh, I'm gonna SA that," I mean, the fifth point I'm going to say, this guy wants to actually convey that he's a straight man, right? But yet you're gonna go and say as in anger that you're gonna go and SA a male child on live stream. That guy must have a lot of internal problems for a person to go around and actually say that. I mean, back in the day, if you heard a person say that to a kid, well, and I'm from the Bronx, I could actually say that you're gonna actually see a grown man actually step up to that person, like, okay, what do you say? And then the streets will handle that person. Whatever way that the streets will handle that person, the streets will handle that person. Back in 2019, there was a man that actually went and kidnapped a young girl on the attempted to kidnap a young girl in the Bronx, the Soundview area. The next day, this guy made the mistake of walking in the Soundview Morrison area, and then the streets actually handled him. It's actually on YouTube that how bad they handled him. They handled him so bad he came out of his pants, and it was actually all on World Star. Then this guy is going went and made a retort of saying what he was trying to do whatsoever. And this man's son said that this guy has been having mental problems, and for him that he went up and did that, tried to do that to a young girl. He says that he actually don't even approve of what the guy is saying.
Mm-hmm.
So that just tells you that that I don't know what it is, but if this guy was actually like in the urban environment, that would not have been going down.
Interesting.
Oh wow, I did not even know that. But then again, I don't really try to see like who all these streamers are, because I'm just trying to have my own platform, because the only people that I actually chill with is AD. Shout out to Aggressive Defiance. Shout out to Crisis Black. Shout out to Jose. Shout out to Nina. And shout out to all the other content creators and musicians that I actually follow. So, you know.
Wow. I just want to, if I can, Nina, if you're interested, I also have a YouTube channel called Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. If you can, please check it out. It's the same thing goes to retail.
Oh, if I watch Quick and Sets, I don't know what that is, Blasian. But salute to you, Blasian. How you doing, by the way?
Good evening. So, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying this. If it was left up to me, anyone that was seriously wanted to create a channel on this platform, they would have to undergo a psychological evaluation to make sure that they're mentally well.
Right.
Because unfortunately, we have certain individuals on this platform
Yep.
that should not be on this platform.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess that I guess trolling is. I mean, I guess I don't know, because I know there's pre-trolling. So the pre-trolling era, like in my case, is that we used to be on Yahoo Messenger and AOL. We used to go and diss people that we didn't know just for the fun of it.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, though, we never really took it to a point that, okay, we trying to find out where that person lives and everything like that. So it's like, yeah.
Oh,
I Yeah, so on Blazing King, I actually saw something on World Star about that. Not only well, it was mostly talking about Nickelodeon, and I was actually shocked because we've heard about Disney and stuff, but Nickelodeon just shocked me.
hmm well, first of all, thank you, Lena, for subscribing to the channel.
Yeah, shout out to
Um,
D Tro.
Yeah, shout out to Charles as well. Look, back. I mean, the '90s. You have all these different, cartoons, what have you. But it also aired sitcoms from the '70s and the '60s, and even some from the '80s.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, a lot of the old sitcoms I prefer watching compared to the sitcoms of today.
I hear you.
First of all, I think the writing was better, the scripts were better. Um,
Wow.
it does my personal opinion.
Right. I did not know that about Drake Bell talking about his um abuser.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you given much thought regarding um, the attempt to ban TikTok in the United States?
All right. This is my thing, and I've always said this, right?
Yeah.
Now, TikTok, a lot of people, we're actually talking about an application, right? TikTok, right?
Yeah.
But then we actually, but then we're everybody's beefing on oh that TikTok is going to be banned, etc. But yet TikTok comes from a place that people don't even have freedom. So if the company, which is actually under government, is actually a government entity in their country, and people are actually making content or whatsoever, right?
Hmm.
So with that said, I think that establishment needs to actually, if they want to actually survive, sell sell their stuff to America, or if they're not, they're going to get banned because 9 times out of 10, it comes out of a country that is not free.
Hmm. Okay. This is the way I look at it. First of all, this whole notion that um, our
Sorry
data
for
being
that, Nina.
okay, that our data being so accessed by the Chinese government. I mean, we have companies that take our data and they sell it to different companies without our
Right,
permission. So,
right.
I mean, really, it's a lot. I see a great deal of hypocrisy. Also,
You-
my concern is they can just easily try to do the same thing as far as Instagram, or YouTube, or Facebook, or any other type of social media platform.
Yeah,
And I did discuss this on a recent stream on my main channel.
right.
Um, and what gets me is that our politicians, they cannot deal with the increase of gun violence. They cannot deal with how to deal with the student loan debt. They could not deal with affordable housing, but yet they can get together and try to ban access to a social platform. Good evening,
Yes,
everybody.
because good evening, Irby. I mean, but the thing is this though. It actually goes within geopolitics because now, I mean, when I say geopolitics, everybody's saying, okay, you have the BRICS, and then the BRICS might go over the dollar, and all these is actually coming in play because TikTok sometimes will actually be informing people on what certain certain entities are doing. But if you actually look at certain, there's another if you actually look at it, right? TikTok is, and I don't, I guess is owned by Tencent, whatever. And then Tencent had like another app, which is called WeChat or whatever. I don't even use that anymore. But then if you really look at it, different cultures when it comes to celebrity status and everything like that is way different than it is in the United States or Europe, right?
Hmm.
Like for example, everybody knows that in the United States, Hollywood or New York, it actually pertains to when a person is actually a celebrity or what or so forth. When it's like when it comes to TV shows and everything like that or movies, right?
Hmm.
And then the person has to go to locations to film these movies or whatsoever. I don't know if in all other countries, I'm saying not the United States, how they make their movies, is their Hollywood the capital city of their country, or is it just like us? Like for example, the reason why I say that is because you have Canadian movies, right? But then we don't know what their Canadian version of Hollywood where all these movies are made, right? Then you have French movies, right? We don't know what is their version of Hollywood on how everything's made, right? Then you have and then you have United Kingdom. They actually make movies, so therefore we don't know what is the place where all these actors live and all this other stuff. So therefore, when you actually look at countries that actually come out with movies other than the United States, for example, Japan or Korea, right? We don't know what is like their version of Hollywood. But for us in the United States, everybody it's been like this, I guess, ever since the 20th century. The go-to place for anybody to make movies or whatsoever is Hollywood. So, and then India too. We don't know what is. Certain people might say it might be Mumbai, it might be Delhi, and it might be Kolkata. But then again, I don't know what is the Hollywood of India either, because you have English movie films, you have the Hindi films, you got the Telugu films. So so the Indian market is actually various, and we can't understand it because we're not of that culture. So
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a lot of unknowns here, and
yeah,
yeah, I mean, we don't even know a great deal regarding our country. Never mind another country that's visiting over here in the United States.
right.
So, actually, I just came across another YouTube creator is back. I'm not gonna mention any
Uh,
names, but apparently this person managed to get to get their platform running again.
yeah, but I blocked that person, so who cares?
Yeah, but one thing one thing I was saying that we have to be mindful what we air, because whatever we air on the internet will forever stay in the internet, even when you delete it, because there's always
Yeah,
someone that can screenshot your content.
right. Exactly.
How's the weather over in Philadelphia? I mean, here it's been raining all day.
Yeah, I mean, it was raining all day until like here in Philadelphia until like maybe like I'll say around 2 or 3. Right now, just the sunlight came out and everything, but it was raining for the whole day.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing over here in New York as well.
Yeah.
So, so Irby, when are you gonna create? When you gonna launch your new channel?
Yeah. I mean, I never understood that because I actually thought it was parental supervision. But then again, I mean, who knows? Because I do know that I think it was the case years back when it was Macaulay Culkin, and then he wanted to be emancipated and stuff. But then certain kids in Hollywood get emancipated. So I don't know if there's a driving force behind that. So it's
Yeah.
yo, Irby, if you want to go and actually get a laptop, I mean, I've seen like a lot of laptops that they sell on eBay and other places. Depending on where you at, you might actually find a place that might sell a laptop for cheap. It might have all the qualifications that you might have for making a channel.
Yeah.
Yo, Irby, where you at though?
Well, he usually, hang out in the chat. I mean, which is fine.
Yeah,
But actually, Irby, if you go on Amazon or eBay, you can get a laptop for relatively inexpensive, depending what you want to do with it.
exactly. Like here, there's places that actually sell. Well, I don't know what year it is, but they actually sell MacBooks and MacBook Airs and everything like that for quite cheap.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, for my laptop, I have to just get some strips and just put more space in it, so therefore I actually can make more videos and such.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
exactly.
you know, but you know what? The fact of the matter is, when you are producing content on a regular basis, it does take a lot of your time.
Yes, it does.
I mean, first of all, you gotta think of what's gonna be the topic. Then you gotta do your research. You may have to do some editing. So
Yep. Yeah, like shout out to a content creator King Cobra JFS. I mean, he has his content. He's almost close to 1,000 followers. So he just himself.
mhm.
And I did not know about King Cobra JFS until I was watching my homie Aggressive Defiance. Shout out to him. He actually has quality content, and you
Yeah,
actually learn from that man.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop off. First of all, thank you very much for allowing me on my platform. And what I would do is I would
Anytime.
encourage anyone that's either catching this live or catch it on the playback. If you have not done so, please subscribe to Don Amanda's channel, and we'll we'll talk real soon. So take care.
You too, Don Jose.
Okay, bye.
Bye. I mean, me personally, anybody else is welcome to come up in the panel. So Nina, how's everything? I mean, my birthday was actually on the 11th, so I guess I look good for my age. I guess. Um, March has weird weather in the northeast. I can't speak for any place else in the country, but I could say that this week alone just has a lot of weird weather. All right, I'll wait. Thank you, Nina. All right. So, Irby, what's been going on in your city? Detroit, what's been going on with you and everything? So, I mean, if you actually look at it, I don't really find it disrespectful. But then again, when a person says it, oh, when a person tried to doubt what I am, so, and then they try to tell me what I'm not without knowing the whole full history, that's what I found disrespectful. Hey, Nina, how you doing?
Hey, I was glad to catch you on a live on a Saturday. This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I usually do, but most of the times I'll be like, okay, I'll be either busy with my wife or anything like that. How you doing, by the way?
I'm doing pretty good and happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I actually, like on my birthday week, like I guess on the week of my birthday, my wife, me and my wife, we actually went to the Chinese dance place. Um, I don't know how you call it, but we went to Shenyun because we've been wanting to go to the Shenyun performance for a long time.
Oh
And when it
wow.
came to Philadelphia, the thing is though with Shenyun, they don't want no cameras, no footage or anything like that. I could tell you it's a good experience. I
Yeah, it's pretty
mean,
big here in the city, but you would know that because I used to advertise it all the time around here
yes,
this time of the year. Yeah.
yes,
Oh, that's
hmm,
awesome. So I was
yeah.
listening to what you guys were talking about when I first hopped on your live. So it sounds like this seems to be the weather for stalkers right now. I don't know what's up with them. I got my own share,
I,
and hopefully
I
they can stay
mean,
away from me because else my brother's gonna go ape shit. So
I mean, sure. It's like with me. It's like to me, it's this. A lot of these stalkers, right? I mean, yeah, you got people on the internet. You might curse them out. You might do whatever and everything like that, and whatsoever. But to go and stalk a person that that prior to anything that you don't even know or anything like that, they find your name. They want to go and reveal certain stuff about my spouse that my that my spouse, she's not even a social media person. She might post a picture here and there, but to go around and post a personal medical information about my wife, they ain't cool. And to me, this person want to go and try to tell, want to use my real name to act like, to project that they know me and stuff. This is the same person that actually harass our own friend Jesse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, there should be a red line of understanding, especially amongst men. So I find that really weird when, like, even in my
Yeah,
situation, the
yeah,
people that
but then
been
again, I
stalking me
but
are
then
men.
again, I don't really consider this individual a man to begin with. But that's
Yeah,
another story.
yeah, I understand. I feel you on that.
Yeah,
So the topic that's in your description about this thing in Moscow,
about the Russian. Yes.
that's
So
wild.
I was
So
reading.
somebody, so I knew that there was a shooting and I saw the story about the shooting, but now someone had posted in a Discord that I manage that the place has gotten completely demolished. Did you see that footage too? Like they
Yes.
bombed it afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, yes, or yes, because I guess for YouTube stuff, we have to go
Hmm.
around and say pew pew or bombed or something like that. I'm saying like the algorithm is really funny when you actually talk about these happenings. And now I was actually reading on Ground News because Ground News is actually a website that is unbiased, and you could actually see where this source is coming from, and it's
Hmm.
crazy.
That is crazy. But do
I
you think
mean,
that it's
I mean it
actually
is.
ISIS? I don't know. I'm not really believing that. For some reason
I,
I
I,
don't believe that.
it's this is one thing I gotta say. I don't know anything, but I know that certain regions in Russia they actually have arms. Because I used to watch another content creator. Shout out to the Daily Bald or Bald and Backflip. Shout out to him because like within the pandemic or anything like that, me and my wife we actually used to watch his show, and then there was another content creator by the name of Harold Balder, or his real name Harold Baldieri, who's actually I guess from Finland or one of the Nordic countries. So they used to actually go to countries that actually India, Cuba, I guess certain countries in Africa. So it was really a travel channel where these guys they actually went to a lot of countries. But one of the countries before I guess they stopped being cool. The United before the war with Ukraine. This guy used to frequent Russia a lot and show parts of the country that you will never see with other content creators.
Like what? Like what
Yes,
was he showing? What was he showing?
like for example, he was showing like okay, everybody knows Moscow and all the other nice places. He was showing like Siberia. He was going on train rides on post-Soviet countries because I guess he loved the Soviet. He liked Soviet stuff. I guess from that era when the Soviet Union was a part of Russia and all the other countries that was under the Soviet Union.
Hmm.
So right now, I guess nobody could actually do that because that content creator was actually kicked out of Russia and can't really speak on Russia right now because that person might have had family or something that might be affected by what Trump is actually saying or doing.
Mm, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
but as far as other people, when I came here as a content creator, it was not really my goal. I was trying to show love to another content creator whose family came from the same town as my parents. The next thing you know, I got into an argument with another content creator who was trying to disprove me of my ethnicity and everything like that. And from there on, that's where I actually have a lot of haters. that they wanted, because I guess I do not speak Spanish well or whatsoever, but I do speak it, and because of my skin color or whatsoever, they were trying to doubt who I am and stuff. But at the same time, these guys, they actually had, if I even proved out what I was, they will try to actually um, gaslight other people to say that I'm not. And the reason why they're actually gaslighting people is because they have a racist agenda for Latin America in general. And then on top of it, most of the stuff that they're saying, they're actually regurgitating um, what the far right is actually saying, and a lot of racism mixed with it.
Like when you
So
say racism, from what perspective? Is it the, like, because we hear this trope, I did growing up. I know black, I Dominican, and people kind of like try to just, bully you with that type of thing when you're
uh,
Latino, or is it the other way
right,
around? Like the more European Dominicans that, just basically think that they're white. Like which way was the racism coming from?
the racism is this, right? I'm Dominican Caribbean, right? And I was
Hmm.
born here in the United States. So on my mom's side, her parents came from St. Kitts and Nevis, but my mom was just happened to be born in the Dominican Republic. My dad was born in the Dominican Republic. So when I went up and I explained that, they was like, "Oh, there's a movement right now saying that that Afro Latinos don't exist or whatsoever," and they want to try to say that we just came from Spain and we're mixed with Indian, with Native American or whatsoever, and then they want to try to admonish any any sequence of African culture, because they want to, because some of the, cause there's a racist movement, and they want to actually try to say that people who are melanated or have African genes are lower than the Europeans, and they're actually trying to convey that by going against African Americans and other Caribbeans and other Afro Caribbeans, and they're actually going against a lot of Afro Latinos who are just saying that they are what they are, but they're like, oh, we don't exist or anything like that. I'm like, okay, so therefore you're gonna tell me that everybody in the New World came to America and Canada, and not in certain places in the
Right.
Caribbean and South America, and you're gonna go tell people that they don't exist. Then on top of it, you act like certain people didn't intermarry back in the days. It's about, oh, we put this caste system or whatsoever. Okay, so therefore now you want to actually convey an ideal of a country that don't even care about you no more. And when I'm saying that it is the idea is actually Spain. So
I
colorism issues are deep in DR though, right? It depends on what region he's from.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I
Because
saw that in the chat. It's like it's not as deep as people think it is. You have a handful of a population that, just really wishes that they were more European than they're not, but it's not like that overall, because at the end of the day, and I think I can speak with authority on this, me too, being part Dominican, like we
right,
more embrace our culture than we embrace color or phenotypes. Like it's our culture.
right.
And that's the thing that, like,
So
even me having American friends, especially if they're Black American friends, they just don't, they never get it. So that's why I used to get so annoyed with that. I know Black, I Dominican, nonsense. It's like, bro,
um,
nobody
um,
gives a
I
F
mean,
about that.
if you actually look at it, right, Nina, where did your since you're part Dominican,
Yeah, I'm Dominican and German.
where
So,
exactly? So which part of the Dominican Republic your family comes from?
Santo Domingo.
All right. So, and my parents, they came from San Pedro de Macorís, and Genio Consuelo to be exact, now called Municipio Consuelo. So my thing is that even though that when my mother and my pops grew up in the Dominican Republic, I have uncles of different shades. But then when I tell people that these Hispanista people that they want to these Spain lovers, that's what I call them. They
Hmm.
want to go and try to say like, oh, you're not this, you're not that. Okay, so therefore, why are you thinking like that? You want to actually bring Nazism as a train of thought to Latin America? Like, what's your deal? Like, you have certain people that they want to try to do this and tell people, oh, you're not this. You have to support Trump and stuff. People have a mind of their own. And then they want to actually go against people that are proud of who they are. They want to go with the attacks like, you know, they want to dox people, they want to swat people and everything like that, just because they have a different viewpoint on their life that they're not comfortable with.
Yeah, that's very true. Like even for up to actually recent, up to even this morning or yesterday, there's been
Yeah.
this one guy who's like he's been obsessed. It's like, dude, every freaking day he's talking about mulatto this, mulatto that, mulatto this. I hate black people. I'm like, what are you talking about? You have no idea who I am.
It's like to the point that I don't really get into to certain individuals like that because
Yeah,
if you listen to the anonymous trouble, it's like to the point that they're not talking anything else. Like for example, you have certain content creators that are going ham. They're like, oh, we don't like black women and everything like that. But yet most of the times they might even have like a black grandmother or something like that. But yet they
yeah,
want to actually talk negatively about African Americans and other Afro Caribbeans.
yeah.
I
It's
mean,
like
it's to the point.
unengaged at this point. It's like you guys have no
It's
idea. Like even after when my father passed away and my mom got remarried, she married a Dominican, and guess what? He was black skin, like dark skin. So tell me again how
right,
much I hate black people. This is the man that raised me. Like what the hell are you talking about? They don't know us
right.
like that. So that's like why when people start over obsessing over where everyone else comes from that's not them, I kind of shy away from those conversations because it's like when it's American centric, now we have the FBA, ADOS, calling people tethers, and doing all this other kind of crazy stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm out. I'm out.
I,
I'm
I mean, to me, is this right? Because I have a lot of African American friends and everything, and then I had a discussion like, oh yeah, you're fake. I'm going to prove to you that you're African American. I'm like, how? But when both of my parents came from the Dominican Republic, so let, let's be honest, if there was reparations in the United States today, I would not get it
Me neither. Yeah,
because
me neither.
exactly. So therefore, just because I look phenotypically like a like an American black man, and I sound like an American black man because the way I talk, certain you have certain people that are trying to kick me out of my own culture. When the fact is, you don't know who I am.
Exactly.
Everybody's raised different. For example, I was I knew Spanish, but then I lost my Spanish, and then I relearned my Spanish in my adult years. Not adult, but in my adolescent years. I may speak it better when I was how should I say as a teenage as a grown man now. But there's still certain stuff that I don't really say right. So they'll be like, "Oh, you're a fake." I'm like, okay. So therefore, from what my understanding, and maybe I might be or not, there's a lot of people in the United States who are of Hispanic origin that don't really speak right when it comes
That's true.
grammatically.
That's true, and that
So
comes that
therefore,
comes
so
from every culture because like there's I mean look at it this way. When I was a kid, I used to speak Spanish and German all the time. I used to watch German news, read German books. You see what I'm saying? But as I got older
yeah,
and I went to college, I wasn't around a lot of German speaking people. So the language that I spoke the most was English and Spanish. So that
Right.
happens a lot. And like, there's tons of people that I grew up with that are Italian that don't speak, good Italian because they grew up here. So it depends on how many generations removed from when your family came to the country that happens. And that's
Yeah,
normal for every culture.
and I'm like the first generation of my kind, and my wife is the first generation of her kind. I could say that my wife, she actually speaks way better Spanish than I do,
Okay.
and
What
her
type
and
of
my
Spanish?
brother-in-law also.
All right, cool.
So, but and then I have a lot of cousins in Brooklyn that they speak both better than me.
Well, somebody still has to speak the language. So I'm
Hmm.
second generation. My niece is third generation. My nieces and nephews, and they still speak Spanish and
Yeah.
English. But very few of us still speak German because we're just not around other German people. I mean, I even belong to a German historical society, but I'm just not around that kind of culture. The one thing that I am trying to keep is old recipes, in terms of like things to
Right.
cook and that kind of stuff because I still love that. I love that about my memories as a child. So
Right.
yeah,
And
it
a
is.
lot of people don't know. And a lot of people don't know when we actually talking about music. Germans actually contributed to the merengue. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't even know that. I know there's a lot of
Like
Germans
for
in the DR, but I didn't know they contributed to that.
like for example, you know the accordion, right?
Yes.
So back like maybe in the in the in the in the 1800s and early 1900s,
Hmm.
there used to be German salesmen that used to actually sell in the countryside Dominicans the accordion. So therefore, the button accordion actually became a staple in what we now call merengue típico or perico ripiao. So it's
Oh, I
so
didn't
it's
know
because
that.
of so it's because of German traders that actually brought those accordions to the Dominican Republic is why they actually contributed to the art form that we know as today as merengue.
That is so interesting. I know when sometimes like friends when I was growing up, they were like, "That's such a weird mix." I'm like, actually, it's not. In terms of my lineage, I'm like, no, there's a lot of Germans and Dutch people in the Caribbean, and I think it's
Yeah,
been that way ever since the transatlantic thingamajiggy. So it's like, yeah,
yeah,
my mix isn't as weird as you think it is.
yeah. I
Oh,
know.
so, yeah. But you know what? Screw those haters, and I hope they leave your wife alone at this point.
I mean, they probably not because they have no life or anything like that. So therefore, I'm just gonna keep doing me. They could go around and use my real name or whatsoever to actually say that they know me. When the fact is, I don't, I don't hang with creeps
Hmm.
or people of that matter, and I just actually try to keep an air of positivity about me.
I hear that. Got no time for it. And speaking of birthdays, Greg's birthday is tomorrow, so another
It
year
is
on the
wow,
table.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually a Pisces, even though I don't really believe in that.
Oh, you missed it
But
by
one
like
thing
what, of 2 weeks or something, right?
I mean, like, this is what's funny, right?
Hmm.
They went up and they say that there's a new astrological sign, right?
Yes, I've heard that.
That's supposed to be right. So I'm a Pisces in the big like I guess I'm born within the Pisces range, right?
Hmm.
Now since they have the new this new astrological sign, I'm still Pisces because apparently the quote unquote Pisces season actually
Hmm.
starts on my birthday.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, so I'm still a Pisces.
I'm
Like,
still gonna be a
wow.
Sagittarius, so yeah, I'm a horse
Yeah.
shooting arrows at everybody.
I know, right?
Always
Like
gonna
I
be
know,
that way.
you know what's so funny? Back in the day when it used to be like, okay, God. what's his name? Shoot, he just passed.
Hmm.
The astrologer, right? Walter Mercado.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everybody, everybody used to go around and watch this person
Yep.
talk out. It's like mucho cariño y amor. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yep, yep. I remember
And
him as a kid. Yep, for sure.
yep, yep,
We watched
yeah,
him more than that lady was the black woman Miss Cleo. Call me now. I remember her too. But yeah,
yeah,
Walter
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mercado
yeah.
was somebody that my mother
Yeah,
used to
that
talk
lady was a
to.
that lady was a fake West Indian. I could say that. And it was like to the point that I'm like, really, like I remember a point that that it was to the point that you had some of these rap artists they want to try to talk with the West Indian accent like Drake. That joint had me laughing. I was like, I'm like, I'm not gonna go around and say like, okay, you can't talk it or anything like that because I'm part Caribbean
Yeah,
also. But I'm like, yo, fam, you doing too much. I'm like,
too
you.
much.
Uh,
Oh, you
it
just
was like my
reminded me. Don, check this out. I saw an article on Twitter, aka X now, that
right.
Shaggy admitted that he was faking his accent all of this time during his music career. He doesn't have
But
he doesn't have any Caribbean anything. He was faking it the entire time.
hmm,
Remember, Mister? It wasn't me. That dude. Yep, he was faking it the entire
yeah.
time. Yep, he was faking it.
Let's
Bumper
see.
clots and all that. Yep, just faking it the entire time. I was like, wow. I mean, I only know like two or three
Well,
of his songs because it's not really my sound, but I was like, wow, that's crazy.
I guess it. I guess he might have the American accent or whatever. But according to Wikipedia, Shaggy, right?
Yeah.
Orville Richard Burrell, CD, born October 22nd, 1968. Better known by his stage name Shaggy, is a Jamaican-born American reggae musician, DJ, and rapper. So how old? So how old was Shaggy when he left Jamaica? So he said that he was 18. Was Shaggy in the military?
Shaggy was in the military. Yeah, that's the article that I saw. But the backstory was fake. That's what I also saw. So he has no affiliation with Jamaica, according to the article that I was reading.
But apparently, to Wikipedia, they said that he was born in Jamaica. So
Well, Wikipedia is not 100% accurate at all. So I don't know. But
yeah,
that's what I saw. I thought that was really interesting.
yeah.
Because now
And
we're
then,
in an age where like people are fighting for lineage to be, a certain Black American versus not Black American. And this guy he just straight up admitted, yo, I was faking it the entire time, bro. Where's my
I mean,
reparations check?
maybe I don't know, but me personally, if I was to, I would never claim that because I would, I don't really have a strong I, I'm just the first of my kind, so therefore, how the heck I'm gonna be like, oh, this,
Hmm.
that, and the third. You know what I'm saying?
One of your mods said, if you went to a Jamaican or African restaurant and it was all American staff, white, would you have any prejudgment or a Dominican restaurant? Yeah, I think I would.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I would
Yeah.
because when it comes to Latinos and other
I would,
Caribbeans, we like spice. We like spice in our food. You know
yeah,
what
I
I'm
think the
saying?
seasonings would be off. Like by me, there's a
Yeah.
Senegalese restaurant. I would feel a
Hmm.
type of way if like everybody that worked at that Senegalese restaurant was white. Like, all right, who's
Or
cooking?
or
I want to know who's doing the
or,
cooking back there.
or there was an article, right? That there was a cook that he was on white, right?
Hmm.
He opened an Asian restaurant, right? A white guy, right?
Hmm.
And he was racist towards Asian Americans, right?
Oh
Where he
boy.
actually called. where he actually called them a crack people. So you calling people that you stole the recipes from to even open your restaurant. You call them crack people, but yet
That's
you want to
crazy.
feel that you could open a restaurant like that. I'm like, I'm like,
Speaking of Asian,
nah,
but check this out. Speaking of Asians, there's a spot in San Francisco, and I guess like the Korean section of San Francisco. It's a
right,
taco spot, but it's run by a Korean woman, and it's actually the most popular because she's got her seasonings down pat in terms of how she like seasons all the Mexican food. And the reason
right,
why she came up in the news is because a taco truck literally parked in front of her restaurant by
hmm
Mexicans. And so they've been in a competition war because of it. Like Mexicans versus Asians for tacos. It's crazy. You know what?
uh,
I'll send you the article when I remember it later. I'll send it to you in the Discord. But yeah,
oh
it's
yeah,
crazy. Like Asians doing Mexican better, and I've even heard in Atlanta Asians are doing even soul food better than Black people are doing soul food, and
yeah.
it's getting out of control. But yeah, I would
I
still feel some
mean,
type of way like when it
I
comes to white
mean,
people.
when I grew up, right, when I grew up in the Bronx, right, there was a guy who was Greek, right, and he had the best pizzas. There's actually two Greek pizzas places in my side of the Bronx, right. So there was a guy by the name of John. He was Greek, but yet he always employed Mexicans. Now the Mexicans that he employed, they were cool and everything like that. You know, they were nice. They actually was nice to people and everything. Now I moved to Jersey with my ex, right?
Hmm.
And it was like around that time there was Operation Pizza Box, where all the guys that I grew up knowing and we were respectful and everything like that. It looked like they were actually within that pizza shop was running like $1 million uh powder or powder organization between people's eyes because all they did was they were transporting with with pizza boxes and nobody knew the wiser until somebody went up and I guess found it and stuff, and that's what started the whole investigation. And
That's
some of the
wild.
people that I knew, and then some of the people I knew, they either got deported or they actually served a lot of time
That is
behind that.
wild.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, it is because now it was so crazy that now the owner had nothing to do with it, but he had to go and move. He went up and split that joint into two sections. One a restaurant that has, I guess, serve Italian or American food, and the other one that's just straight pizza
Sounds like a client
on
of
the other
mine.
side of the street.
Yeah, it sounds like a client of
Yeah.
mine that lives like he lives a town over from my mom in Minnesota. And
Hmm.
during COVID, he split up his business just to make sure that it could stay afloat. So he has one pizzeria that's in a smaller square footage, and then he has
Hmm.
like a full-blown restaurant and catering service. And that's why he was able to stay like completely afloat and open during the lockdown. But
Right.
he has now that I think about it, he has a lot of Latino line cooks that work the catering business for him. Not many Italians, and he's straight from Naples, like heavy accent and
Right.
everything. Yeah,
Yep.
and
I
his
mean,
daughter
that's
and
where
his guy
my
have the same name.
yeah, that's where my cousin in the Dominican Republic, his father was from Naples,
Mm.
but his father passed away, so he actually came to the United States a few times. Cool dude. And my real name and his real name, well, let's put them like this.
Oh,
We're actually named after a video game. So we're like the our names is like the real version. We're like the real version of that video game. That's all I'm gonna say.
okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, in these streets, everybody just knows me as Nina or Freddie. That's actually my real name. Keep it
That's what's
simple.
up.
Yeah, just keep it
Yeah.
simple. My
Hmm.
job has required me to be somewhat public, so it is what it is.
Oh, so yeah, got you. I mean, my my job is just regular. I just work, and I guess that's it.
Mm.
But I'm not gonna go around and claim I'm this big person or anything like that because I'll be honest, I don't even drive. And people say, "Oh, you don't drive?" I know because I'm gonna do New York for all my life. So
Yeah,
who
I don't
who really
drive
needed
either.
to? Yeah,
My car used to sit in front of my house collecting parking tickets. So no, I don't blame you. Seriously.
yeah.
So it is. Well,
I mean,
but
I would
people,
love to drive and just to feel like the wind blowing and stuff. I guess it will make my life easier. But then
maybe.
sometimes it's like, certain. I have friends certain like because I live in Pennsylvania. There'll be certain areas that's in Pennsylvania that you need a car to drive,
Hmm.
and then it's like 5 or 6 hours from where I'm from. So it's crazy.
Well, that's for me. That's what Greg is for. So he drives, and that's fine with me. You know. But here,
Gotcha.
I just don't have a reason to drive. Like I live walking distance from trains all over the place. Like, why am I gonna buy another car, have maybe have a note, maybe not, have to pay insurance, have to move it every couple of days because of parking, street cleaning and all of that. Like, I don't
Yeah.
bother. And I work remote, so where am I going? If I'm gonna be in a car,
Right.
I'm gonna most likely be with Greg. So what do I need a car for?
Right.
I, I just don't. So I don't know.
Hmm.
But when I lived in Jersey, yeah, I had to drive everywhere, and my commute to work was like an hour away from my house. So that was a different story. So when I worked for some
Yeah.
one of
When
the
I'm
software company,
Yeah, when I lived in New Jersey, I went back and forth. I guess for work from New York and everything like that by train.
someone
Oh
said never
yeah,
had social media except MySpace or YouTube. Oh, I remember MySpace. You remember the top nine?
yes, yes. And then you just play music and everything like that. Those are
Yeah,
the good old days.
I miss
But
Tom.
yeah, I wonder whatever happened to Tom.
Tom,
I, I,
I'll tell you what happened to him. Once he sold it, he just went on this sabbatical and just started taking pictures all over the world. I
yeah,
follow him on another platform, and all Tom has been doing has just been taking like cool pictures of remote places, like parts of Hawaii, parts of
yeah.
Alaska, parts of like these places in Norway. That's what Tom's
Yo,
been
we
doing.
yo, 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 we just abandoned Tom that soon as Facebook happened.
I miss Tom. At least he was nicer. He
I
was
mean,
cuter
I mean, I
too.
get.
I mean, now we got Lizard Boy, and I'm not even on Facebook like that because I keep going to jail. So like, I just have it because my mom and
I
my
mean,
family are on it. But
what's funny? Like, I've been on Facebook jail for so many things
me
from my
too.
10 year. 20, from like, I got two Facebooks, right? I got one that I made in 2007 and one that I made in 2009. Both of them I was trying to make into like music profiles because at the time I was trying to get into the quote unquote rap industry and everything like that. But then
Mm.
again, I did. I was like, how come I couldn't put my music right there whatsoever? I was like, all right. So right now, I just network because I'm about to do the music again, but then I'm just gonna try to do it right because I don't want to go around and do any
Yeah, I
willy
think
nilly thing.
I follow your IG page for your music. I think, right? You have an IG page.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I
yeah.
follow.
So I haven't put out any music, but because I just want to try to put it out right because there's a lot of people that like say, for example, if I put out a joint, right? The next thing you know, somebody might steal your music and all that stuff. So I just want to get my joint done right or anything like that. So if I'm gonna make any money, it goes straight to me, not these big, not these big record labels or whatever.
Makes sense. So I'm assuming then you also have like a SoundCloud account then too, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Send it to me. I'll follow that one too. There's lots of artists that I
right.
follow on SoundCloud that they don't exist anywhere else, but I love listening to it in the morning. So makes sense.
Got you. It's just I haven't really been putting out stuff for I'll say like 11 years because
Mm,
life happened. But I'm gonna try to actually go back to the studio again and try to put something.
that's what's
I
up.
mean, which is meaningful. So it's
Yeah.
like I still have a lot of contacts within the music industry whatsoever, and they still putting out joints and everything. But me, life happens, so I'm just trying to handle my bills before I do anything because to do music is actually pricey if you don't have your own.
You know what? I
Still,
think now that you just said that, I'm going to reach out to a friend of mine. We actually used to work together at
all
another
right,
company, but he happens to be a producer. That was basically he was a producer. That was like his side thing, and then he started working like exclusively for Puff Daddy before Puff Daddy became P Diddy. Like he has the
oh yeah,
plaques on the wall and everything. Like he's gotten awards for it. And he's
yeah,
in Jersey. He's a Jersey City boy, and so I'll put you guys in contact with each other. I don't know. Maybe y'all can work on something. He might be
all
bored and
right,
want to start a new project. So I'll link you
got
guys
you.
on Instagram. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be dope. And he's very, very talented, very detail
all right,
oriented. He's
cool.
got a good ear for a lot of details and stuff like that. But when we worked together, he was in my IT department. So that's what he was doing. I
Yeah,
was the developer, and he was like basically like tech support. Yeah, and if
got you.
his desk couldn't fix it, then it went to someone like me. Yeah.
Yeah, because talking about that, I think I'm with talking about IT and everything like that. I might need somebody to put because I don't know the configurations. I don't want to go in and put wrong, but I just think I need more space on my own laptop. So I was talking to a person at HP that was like, "Hey, you could go and do it, but I don't want to go in and mess up anything with my mishandling." So
Well, you can always
we might have we might
you're
have to talk
using
behind the
Windows,
scenes
right?
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's talk about it because so I'm assuming it's HP you're using Windows. Or
yes,
you can also create a like a virtual server where you separate like your day-to-day kind of stuff that you just do basically on the laptop from the music and
yeah,
everything else. So you might have to create a virtual machine or virtual server.
right. Yeah, the thing is though, what I'm trying to do right is that
Hmm.
I'm trying to at least have like enough space, so therefore, because when you have Adobe Photoshop, it takes a lot. It took
Yeah,
about
I have
amount of
all the
space, and it's
films.
only
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's HGB. So therefore, I'm trying to at least trying to see which one has more. So at least I could actually run the
Yeah.
how should I say the Adobe Photoshop programs. Like
Hmm.
say if I want to do video editing or whatsoever, I could use that. I could use
Well,
those stuff.
that's more than
And
Photoshop. Then that's a whole Adobe suite. Like for myself, I have the whole
yeah,
Adobe Creative Suite. So all the apps are on my machine, all
all
of
right,
them,
all right. So
absolutely.
all right, so that's free for you because you're with Apple, right?
Hmm.
Or you have to pay
Well, no,
or you
it's
have to
not
pay
free. Oh
monthly.
no, no, no! I have a license. I have a license for it. Yeah, yeah. No, I paid for that. I paid big bucks for it, but uh,
All
for
right,
the
so
tax
how
work
much
that
is
I
the
was
license?
doing, I paid for it.
All right, so how much is the license that you have to get?
Well,
Do you just get that, or you just
well,
have to pay every month? Because I pay every month.
yeah. So what happened after CS? I think it was after CS5 or CS6. Adobe changed their model where you couldn't just buy a perpetual license. They wanted to put you on a subscription-based model. So I still have
Right,
my software that I bought before they changed that model. So, but if I need
right.
anything new, then I just pick and choose, kind of like an a la carte thing. So one of the
All
apps
right.
that I use a lot that I do actually have to pay a monthly subscription for because of the updated packs. that come with it is Adobe Illustrator and this other one that I use for video editing, but I don't use it that often, so I shouldn't actually have to pay for it since I use I think it's Final Cut, yeah,
All right.
you know. But that's how I got around it. But I still have a
Nice.
professional license, so.
Nice.
On one of my machines, I downgraded it in order for that license to persist. So I have
Right.
the laptop that I'm watching you on right now. This has a subscription because of the more up-to-date packs that I needed to work on a few things that I do on the side. But then I have
Right.
I have my iMac that I downgraded the OS for. That way my perpetual license can persist there. And it'll keep telling me, oh, you should upgrade, you should upgrade. I'm like, no, I'm good here, because that's the machine that
Got
is like the heavy horse that I do a lot of the work
got
on.
you.
So that's how I manage it. And then I have a Mac Air where she doesn't have anything on her except like this fun stuff. So that's like basically like the little laptop that I'll walk around the house with.
Got you.
Yeah. Or if I
Um.
want to run some code or like test an application that I'm building, that's what the one I'll use.
Right. I got a question. When was the last time you went to Germany?
When was the last time I went to Germany? I
Yeah.
didn't. When I was going to Germany, that's when Iceland had a whole bunch of volcanic eruptions, and so my tickets got canceled, and I just haven't had the time to go. But my
Oh
German
wow.
family is from Cologne. Yeah, we're from Cologne, Germany.
Yeah.
That's where my
It's funny
grandfather
because
from.
when when I used to live in Jersey City, I had a German neighbor, and me and him we used to talk, and he used to walk his dog and everything. He was actually cool. And here in Philadelphia, you have a lot of people who are, I guess, they have German ancestry,
Mhm.
and there's actually a place called Germantown. Well, I guess they don't have Germans anymore, but I guess
Yeah, I've
back in
heard
the
of
day
that
they used to have
place.
German. Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard of that place in Pennsylvania. So
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, well, Germans are all over this country. Like my grandfather came here during World War II.
right.
Uh, and then he had to go through, even though Ellis Island was closed or supposedly closed, basically for everyone else coming into the country, because he came
Yeah,
from Germany, he had to go through Ellis Island because we were in the middle of a war with Nazis and all of that. So he had to get super duper vetted. And he enlisted in the army
yeah,
pretty much right away. And so ever since we've been here, we've been a military family. So
got you.
both of my grandparents, sets of grandparents served in the military, and brothers and uncles have been doing it ever since. So it's just our way.
Nice.
Um,
My thing is this, right? Because I'm trying to find certain stuff or I guess whatever. I'm still trying to find like some, like I guess when a person comes to this country, like
mhm.
some form of record or something like that. Well, it's for my mother and everything like that. She
You should be able to find
passed.
you should be able to find those, especially if they
Yeah, the
came
thing
here
is,
like during our time period. Because you're first generation, right? I'm second generation. We can
yeah,
find all of our records. Like even when my
yeah,
grandmother came here, she came here from Ireland. I know those records.
yeah. So where would I find those on records? Because the thing is that my mother came like around the late 1960s. So
1960s. All right. So that wouldn't be Ellis Island. That would be.
no,
Hmm. That's a good question. Huh. I
yeah,
should I should do some research on that. Ask one of my aunts. Yeah. Because even right
yeah.
now they're
Please
trying to
do.
get me to get dual citizenship.
Yeah,
And I've
yeah.
been I've been so lazy to
That's what
do it.
yeah that's what it's that's what I'm trying to do. So
Yeah.
therefore, it's like I'm j- they have to go around and get some type of concrete evidence or whatever
Yeah.
about my mother, since both of my mother and my father were born in the Dominican Republic. So I have to try to find get that concrete evidence. I tried
Am
to
I?
do for that website family.com, but I haven't seen nothing.
Mm. I should ask my mom because my stepdad came here in the 80s from the
All
DR.
right,
And
right,
I was at his, we were all at his, his court appearance when he became a citizen. So that would be like more
right.
recent, paperwork. So I'll ask her. I'll send her a text and I'll ask her, and I'll get back to you.
All right, please do it, and we'll talk about it on Discord.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna hop off. It was good talking to you.
It was good talking to you too. You're always welcome. I'm gonna make you an admin.
Oh, thank you. So don't
Yeah.
forget to remind me. Hit me up in Jay's Discord, and I'll. You know what? I'll send you an invite over to mine and my brother's. I think you're on my brother's Discord. Are you?
Yeah,
Are you not?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Oh,
so. Yeah.
okay, okay. So yeah, that's where I am pretty much every day. That's like my little corner of the internet, staying away from trolls or
Right.
trying to at least. And that's it.
Yeah. Exactly. All
All
right.
right.
So
Good to
yeah,
talk to
yo.
you.
So I'll just put the link right here.
Okay.
Or I mean for Giorgio if you can join. So
What? Say that again. I
yeah, I'm putting the link for Giorgio if he can talk because sometimes everybody's busy. So. Yeah, but my mother came to New York, so she didn't. When she got her citizenship, she went and did the commencement in Brooklyn. So I remember that. Hey, Giorgio, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing very well. I just got up from a nap. How are you and Nina doing?
Yeah, we're doing great. We're just talking about various topics. One of the main topic is that attack that happened in Russia, and I was actually reading on the ground news that they were saying that Ukraine might be responsible for that. So I don't know.
I didn't really have a whole lot of time to research that, but I believe it was a Russian concert that was attacked.
Yes, and a lot of people lost their lives. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm the type of guy to wait until every single bit of details and facts come out before
Yeah, me too.
making
Yeah,
up
me
all these
too.
conspiracy theories.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even conspiracy theorists or anything like that, but I'm just saying that since it did happen, I'll just keep on abreast of it of seeing like, okay, what happened and who's responsible whatsoever because I think it just happened yesterday. And I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I just kind of personally find there to be a lot of crazy things happening all around us simultaneously. But yeah, if people zoom in on it though, and the media though, then yeah, it's going to be something that probably a lot of us are going to naturally pay a little bit more attention to, even though around us we have like a multi-billion-dollar like child sex trafficking rings all around us that don't really get as much attention as it probably should be getting.
I mean, yeah, because if you actually look at it, right? I was
Hmm.
talking to a friend of mine talking about that trafficking ring, you know, the three-letter word trafficking ring. I'm just saying that because I reside in Philadelphia. They say the reason why that certain people have done that because certain people love going to the street pharmacy and not watching their kids. I was like, wow. And they're saying all these different states are just the three-letter word trafficking. or just human trafficking in general, because and it's been going on for since like forever. It's crazy.
Yeah, it has, and like it's not really to discount the horrific effects that came out of the Russian attack, though. It's not like to discount that or say that well that the people there don't matter, because they do, though. But I just believe in fair reporting, and I just think that there's not really a balance in a level of fairness that comes to reporting.
I believe it. I mean, it's to the point that if you actually look at it, right, we have reportings about personal disputes. Um, sadly, sadly there was two twin girls that actually lost their life just because one of them rejected the advances of a man, and one of the twins lost their life because of it.
Hmm.
So, and then I guess in other places, it's stories about people who are being unalived and everything. So it's just like, okay, what are the real issues? I mean, as far as what should be done, because I see a lot of stuff that could be fixed and stuff, but I guess due to politics, or I guess not personal development, you don't see a lot
Hmm.
of things done. Like, for example, why is it that everybody talking about Flint for, it was like maybe it was a certain time that happened, but yet certain people may or may not still have clean and drinking water, and we're supposed to be the big old United States.
Sounds
So
like Flint, Michigan.
yeah,
Or
that's
even
what I'm
other.
saying about,
Yep.
yeah, or other places in the United States that are not actually well known.
And you also want to know what I also am thinking about too, like on a related note, is
Yep.
West Virginia though. Like West Virginia, especially many pockets of West Virginia,
Hmm.
and just certain parts of Appalachia, since a lot of West Virginia is technically a part of Appalachia, you have widespread poverty though. You have a lot of people living actually below the poverty line. You actually do have like many of the steel industry jobs that have actually either closed down or they have moved out though. And you just have some people who are starting to adopt so many doom and gloom attitudes because there's not really a whole lot to do around there. There's no jobs. And then, in addition to the poverty, I think that issue could be easily remedied as opposed to sending $80 billion to Ukraine. Send some of
I
that
believe
to actually West Virginia, which could remedy it. Oh, sorry, go on.
I believe that I believe that also, because when me and my wife, right, we actually took a Amtrak train to back and forth to Florida from Philadelphia. Just seeing the places that we were rolling through, you had you had a lot of stores that was closed. You had a lot of you had a lot of places that was actually backwoods. Certain infrastructure was damaged. You had certain people that actually had, I guess, thriving businesses, and then you have certain businesses that was closed. So it was like, I don't know if you could actually describe it as a sundown town, but I saw a lot of that during the train trip. So I know that the train went to West Virginia, Atlanta, I believe. No, I mean Georgia, I believe, South Carolina. All those towns that they were showing that we were going through, they were showing towns that I didn't. It was I was seeing towns that I did not even know the name. That some of them just run down. So I don't know what it was.
And then D Trail says to we'll go through Camden. Well, yeah, not only Camden, New Jersey though, but how about the Kensington neighborhood too? I know about Kensington because I've been to Philly.
Yeah, I really try to hang around there because when me and my wife used to live in Philly, was like maybe 20 minutes from Kensington. And Kensington had its own stuff, but then after the pandemic, everybody who came from Kensington is everywhere sleeping and everything like that. So it's just crazy.
Yeah. So, and can you see how like that's just not getting as much media airplay as everything else is getting all this airplay, such as the Russian attack, and then
Right.
if you don't mind me getting a little spicy about something on your stream, bro, and I'm not asking anybody to agree with me, but
All right.
what's been constantly getting a lot of media attention is the whole Israel versus Hamas controversy, or the Israel
Yes.
Gaza controversy too.
Yes.
There you go.
And
And you
I
go
mean,
on.
and, and it's like me. I'm gonna be honest. I see people protesting and everything like that, but and I have maybe my own opinions about it. But one thing I'm not gonna say is that a lot of people are losing their lives and everything. But yet, I see when I was actually in Boston, I seen certain people like, oh, this, that, and the third, or that, this, and the third. So to me, I'm not gonna go around and try to comment on something. Like I've read about it and everything, but I can't really talk about it because I haven't been there. You get what I'm trying to say? So therefore,
Totally.
that's why I have actually kept shut. I'm not, and to me, one thing I gotta say is this: as far as the Middle East and everything like that, I see a certain community, right? That they're actually. I'm not telling anybody who they should support or not support, right? But I see certain things that I don't actually believe. Like for example, if you're a part of a certain community, right, or if you even call yourself a community, right, and you're saying, "Hey, I'm this side because there's there's an unalive of children or whatsoever, right?" But historically, I'm just saying because of what I've read and everything like that, people of that faith and everything are against that community because they're opposed to their way of living and everything like that. So,
Yeah.
with that said, I find that funny that they actually protesting and doing all of this stuff, stopping traffic for people who traditionally do not like your community because of their religious beliefs. And
Yeah.
in certain countries that actually have that belief, they have actually unalived people in certain countries. Either it will be um, actually it will be with the sword or with rifles.
Yes.
I
And
mean, yeah. I mean, as far as Kensington and everything, I was talking to one of the locals in Philly, and they was like, Kensington, nobody's going to do anything about it. I was like, why? Because, quote unquote, there's too much illegal money to be made in that place. And the person was telling me that a person from Washington D.C. who was actually working close with certain politicians, they actually take the train from Washington D.C. to Philadelphia, do what they do in Kensington, and then go back to the job via Amtrak.
mhm,
I was like, wow.
exactly.
I'm like,
But oh, I almost forgot what I was about to say. But
yeah,
like on a related note, like to what you were saying though regarding the Israel Palestinian conflict. Now, this is where it was going to get very spicy on my part.
All
So,
right.
I am going to say this because I have to stick strictly to my beliefs that are based in
All right.
the Bible. So,
Exactly.
I'm going to say this: Israel is the apple of God's eye. It always has been from a biblical and historical standpoint, going back to the days of King Jehu and King Josiah, who were also great kings of Judah, especially King Josiah, wonderful king of Judah. And if people really read in the book of Obadiah about what happened to the Edomites, well, the Edomites started to seek satisfaction in the destruction and in the suffering of the people in Jerusalem. So guess what happened as a result of the Edomites doing that in the book of Obadiah?
I'll have to
Guess what
read
happened?
that. I'll have to.
But
Their
bro,
own.
you're a smart man. You can take an educated guess. Guess what happened to the Edomites?
I guess it was their own destruction.
Exactly. Ding, ding, ding. The nation of Edom was destroyed as a result of them getting satisfaction and destruction of God's people. That area of the Middle East is surrounded by all these enemy territories that want to take them out. But if you see that there's a reason why they have never been taken out. You can't take out the apple of God's eyes. Now, this does not mean that I like every single body within the Israeli lobby. This does not mean that I agree with the politics that's going on over there. Guess what? I don't have to like them. I don't have to like every single thing that Bibi Netanyahu is doing. I don't like to have to like every single thing as to how their political frame works. I don't. But at the same time, I am sticking with the fact that it is the apple of God's eye. And yes,
I'm sticking with that
with
too.
Israel. And I do not believe all these exaggerations about how, well, Israel is a modern day apartheid government. That is the most exaggerated BS that I have ever heard. Don't try to draw these false comparisons to the apartheid government, which has been gone for 30 years. They're not the same thing.
Right.
Because if people look into places like Temple Mount, which is in Israel, you have many Palestinians who go there to pray. You have actually many Palestinian Muslims and Christians who actually go there to pray. Many Palestinians were always more than welcome to go to Israeli places of worships and hospitals, even in addition to the fact that 20% of the Israeli population is not believing, and they're not Jewish either. So you didn't really get that stuff during the South African apartheid government. So people, hey, stop creating moments of like false dichotomies or a false equivalence, because that's kind of like what's going on here when they're trying to say that what's going on in Israel is equivalent to the South African apartheid regime. No, it's not.
And this is my thing. I can understand if people are from that region, right? But my thing is that you have Americans that never been to this region whatsoever, right? And then they're going so hard for this, and I'm just here scratching my head. I'm like, huh? I'm like, yeah. So it just that part of the international news is crazy.
Exactly, though, and just my point with all of that stuff, though, is that people are giving that a lot more attention than it really shouldn't really be getting, though. And so I think that also the comments, though, that the saying that difference between Jewish Zionists, though, well, Yeah, because I've already made it clear with people that I could care less about the political philosophy of Zionism, though. But yes, apartheid at the time was very racial too, racially based, though. But Israel, and that's a very distinct issue, though. It's kind of like
Yeah,
saying that Trump is like Hitler in Berlin. I'm like, okay, guys, come on. Now, I don't care a whole lot about him or all that, this, that, and the third. But I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, he's the new Benito fascist Mussolini. Oh, he's the new Hitler. I'm like, come, guys, stop. That's taking it way too far.
yeah, it is because if you actually look at it, right, you have certain people that have the, I guess, the unfortunate things of when somebody says something about that, they're about, oh, this is you're encroaching to my rights. Instead of both sides actually going around with dignity and respect, and they could actually argue their political differences, we're actually turning into like maybe India, where we're like, oh, you're Democrat, oh, you're Republican, and then we could go around and punch each other in the face. I mean, I'm just saying the local populace because when I was a kid, right, and growing up as a teenager, I used to watch like rumbles around the world, right? So they show Indian politicians actually actually punching each other in their legislative branch of that country and ripping off mic stands. I mean, the foldable kind, and throwing it at people. And then on top of it, you're seeing people in Taiwan doing the same actions. So now, since we in the United States cannot really respect a person's opinion, or you think that a person with a different political opinion is your enemy, what is going to happen in the United States when people who cannot differentiate from their own political beliefs from civility start going and punching each other because of your political differences? It's
Yeah.
like we're supposed to be different.
Whereas you basically nowadays you see all these people who are at each other's throats than never before, and it's at an all-time high. Much kind of like the stuff that were transpiring during the Babylonian Empire period, which is very much what the U.S. is in the state of Babylon.
Right, right,
Because back then, like, you could actually sit back and actually have like a civil discourse, though, because my grandmother, whom you guys have already seen on my community tabs, she was a big time Nixon supporter back in the day, but I do not think that my grandfather was, but they weren't really at each other's throats, especially when it came to the whole Watergate issue that was also going on during the Nixon era. Still, nobody
right,
was at each other's throats, though. Nobody was getting so doped up on their flared up emotions that you see happening nowadays, because that's what's going on. Because you want to know like what happened to me in this Creole group that I'm a part of on Facebook.
right. Okay. What happened? You got kicked
So
out?
no, I didn't get kicked out. What happened was that somebody shared a post about how they basically don't like Biden at all, which I
All
don't
right.
at all either. I'm like, okay, that dude is definitely experiencing a lot of age-related cognitive decline. There's no doubt about that. There's also no doubt that so many people dislike him in his own constituency too. I agreed. I made it clear. I said that us Creoles, we shouldn't really be supporting all this stuff, though. We actually have a good history of being, pro-life, very family-oriented, this, that, and the third. And so then
Right.
somebody else commented, got angry by my comment, and said, oh, what is it? You a Trumper? You're this and you're that. I'm like, guys, I could care less about the MAGA stuff. Don't even go there. And dude, it was a catastrophe in the group. It's just like you had a bunch of people creating these false dichotomies, which is them saying that, oh,
Yo, talking about false dichotomies. It's funny on how everybody that I ever since I've been on this YouTube stream or whatsoever has has creating a false dichotomy of, oh, that if you're Hispanic you're supposed to support Trump. Trump is for our people. There's no such thing as Afro Latino. Okay, so if there's no such thing as an Afro Latino, why is there in that there's certain populations of us in Latin American countries? Oh yeah, and then they want to say all the negative and racist things towards people of that matter, but yet, and then they create a false dichotomy of everybody who is of darker skin being criminals. It's crazy.
exactly. And that craziness also was all over the group too. And for those, like who want to create these false dichotomies, they got to realize that it's not all black and white. Because I made it clear to them in the group is that, well, I'm actually more of a Ron Paul libertarian type, though, who will
Yeah,
very
because
much get under the skin of everybody within the two-party system. Because they're all saying that, okay, like I guess speaking about what you were bringing up with like the Hispanic issue, these people were saying that, hey, you don't vote against Biden, you are going against democracy, and you are a big-time Trumper or Trump pansy. I'm like, okay, that's a false dichotomy
no,
because
and
there are actually other avenues to actually take when it comes to that issue. And Ron Paul, or even his son Rand Paul, will very much get
mhm.
under the skin of people, like I said, within the two-party system. I'm not a part of them. I could care less about that. There are people who are in my shoes in the millions. So,
Yes,
mm-mm.
and it's like well me right. It's like now I'm not for Biden and I'm not really for Trump, right? Because I have friends who are arguing and saying like Trump, they're Trumpers and they're not because of the stimulus and everything. So it's like I respect opinions and everything, but then certain people are just like, okay, yeah, we're not respecting it. I'm like, okay, y'all have some valid points, and then y'all also have some valid points. But me personally, I was actually looking at what at an artist by the name of Cuban Link, what he was saying, and it was like, okay, we're not gonna go around and say that we're Republican or Democrat, but we want to see what Ron Paul was actually saying, and to this day, it's still getting into the skin of a lot of people because either they're not really politically aware or they're so far gone in their ideology they're not going to go around and sit and hear what the other person has to say without insulting them.
That's exactly what went down in the group. Oh, everybody getting, oh, like very hostile towards one another, calling names, insults, petty insults, just a lot of immaturity. I'm just like, and you want to know what happened is that even when like this woman in the group says, oh, I don't want to hear about your Creole BS, I'm like, excuse me? This is a Creole group, right? I made it clear to you before, miss, that I'm also Louis Creole through my mom's side, whose mom was
Right.
born in New Orleans before she settled in Natchez, Mississippi. So,
Hmm.
excuse me, this is a Creole group. I just gave you some history. We actually have a pretty rich history, being very family oriented and family, focused, all that stuff, pro life, all of that stuff. Though, if you actually read about many of like the Louisiana Creoles, And I'm saying we should
Right.
actually not support Biden. Screw that guy. And no, we are not a
Right.
democracy. We are not a democracy. We are actually a republic, because a democracy would mean that if most people think that your First Amendment right should be revoked, then democracy would permit that. But a republic is protecting your freedom of speech that you happen to cherish so much. So you want
Right.
to keep your precious freedom of speech. I think you're probably going to want to live in the republic, not a democracy. And no, that's
Exactly.
not some right-wing talking points. I don't want to hear all these little straw man arguments that
It
all these
actually it,
bozos are
it
going to
actually
make.
says it. It actually says it in the Constitution, to the republic for which it stands.
One nation under God, indivisible, and for liberty and justice for all. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of stuff needs to continue to improve, but you're not a democracy. And I'm glad we are not.
Yeah.
Yep, D Trill says a very conservative history in Louisiana. Yes, and many of the Creoles that I also come from, the mixed race Creoles especially, were all about that. Don't get me wrong, even like
Hmm.
the white Creoles, black Creoles, they were the same way though, but a lot of like the mixed race Creoles though, those that I also came from too, they were very much all about the big families and being pro-life, because they stuck, like with themselves still. Many of them were, generally Catholic, and they actually were the ones that created their own church along the Natchitoches River in the northern part of Louisiana too. Oh, Don, I was getting ready to say, so that church was the St. Augustine Church that the Louisiana Creoles actually built themselves along the river, too.
Yeah.
If people want to research it, I'd say look it up.
I
Natchitoches
mean,
River.
yeah. I mean, well, I was actually when I was actually living in Gulfport, Mississippi, as a kid. My aunt went to St. Teresa's, so I guess I didn't. I didn't really know about the dynamics of the Creoles until. I mean, they always talked about it, but it just went over my head. But now, when I actually start reading about it and everything like that, you have certain people that actually fit that description, and then certain people that don't. So it's like I guess back in the days before DNA, you didn't know what blood quantum or anything is. I don't even know my own blood quantum because I refuse to do the DNA test because
Mm-hmm.
of because certain people don't feel like having law enforcement having your DNA or anything like that. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I get that though. Like my uncle, aka my dad's older brother, um, me and him, I don't really talk to him about like the DNA or genealogy, you know, exams and all that, this, that, and the third. I don't go there with him because he said, okay, well, it's China will have your data then. I'm like, okay, I love you, Uncle, but Uncle Jerry, this is kind of area that I don't really want to talk about because no, I don't have any regrets at all in taking actually my genealogy though, because I actually found a lot of stuff I connected to with a handful of family members through our side. And I actually ended up uncovering even some more photos too of my great grandmother, Lula Pearl, that I've already
Right.
shared on my community tab. And when I went to a family reunion too, other people brought up Lula Pearl in her picture because, my family on both sides of my family have done an excellent job at preserving all these old pictures. So yeah, guys, the government already knows who you are, because if you have a social, they already know who you are, though. But then, yeah, I understand how you're now giving away your DNA. Well, I'm just thinking well, you don't commit crimes, do you?
Well,
but that's just me,
right.
man. That's just me. I'm just speaking just for myself, but I get where other people are
Yeah.
coming from, but
Yeah.
I don't really want to cause friction. So that's why with Uncle Jerry, who I love, I've already shared him before, that's just something that I don't really want to go there.
Got you. I mean, everybody has their own beliefs about that. My sister, she has her beliefs about that. My cousin already did it, but then I'm still a little bit wary because I want to know where I'm from, but then it's like, but you're gonna have my DNA, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like a to each their own, like a type of situation.
Right.
But yeah, that's why I just speak for myself. But it was really cool, like, uncovering, a lot of the stuff like about the past. And it's pretty cool
Right.
that, yeah, I like that I do descend from the Igbo people of Nigeria. That part was probably accurate because, like, one of my great grandfathers that I shared, though, he was predominantly of Igbo descent. I got the 13% Scottish. I'm not surprised by that because, like, a lot of people who also settled in the South, even especially in Appalachia, were of Scottish descent. I'm not surprised by that 1/8 Scottish in me.
All right. So we're brothers then.
I guess so. You got it too?
No, because like on my mom's side, right? Like my grandfather, this is what she told me is that like my great grandfather might have been from either Portugal or Portuguese Indian mix, and then my great grandmother was Scottish. Remind you, I never met them because this is way back like in the 1800s or something like that. So I would not even know what they even looked like. I'm being honest. Right. I just heard that I might have Portuguese and Indian ancestry. That's what my mom always told me.
Mm-hmm. Portuguese, I definitely have. I already got that. So that part was actually accurate in the exam. Mm-hmm. Because you actually had a number of people who, came from the Iberian Peninsula and even settled in the Louisiana area, though, when King Carlos took over also the territory in 1762.
Right.
Before giving it back to the French around 1802, 1804. And then we all know that the Louisiana Purchase happened.
Yeah, and shout out to a certain. You got certain people who are that they said that there's the Spanish Creoles also that still exist in Louisiana. So
exactly, and also even a number of people down in that part of Louisiana, they actually have some Filipino blood in them too. Did you know that?
I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm. The reason why I say that was when I went to school, there was like a sizable Filipino. Well, I'm not going to say sizable. I know that there were some Filipinos in Gulfport. I can't really talk about Louisiana or anything like that because I only went there as a kid through cars. So, from a kid's perspective, I ain't going to go around and say, "Hey, I knew this" because I was a kid. So, a kid's perspective from an adult perspective is actually different.
True. No, that's true, though. I mean, like, even in that part of where you were living at in Mississippi, you actually had, like, a Chinese settlement, too, in that part of the South as well. Yeah, if you go on
I know that.
Yeah, if you go onto YouTube and you type in the Chinese in the South, you will find
Hmm.
this older Chinese woman speaking in a very strong Mississippi accent.
Yeah.
Yes, it's because a lot of a number of Chinese people settled in that part of the South, but they were very much isolated from everybody else, and they weren't very political, but they just kept quiet about a lot of stuff. So they were kind of like the silent minority down there.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I get that because even though it was down south and stuff, there was actually very few Dominicans in down south. It was like basically my aunt was like, it was my aunt. It was her friend. It was her friends who lived in Louisiana, and then maybe later on, before I left down south, there was a Dominican woman that married an African American man, and they had children. And then I found out later on that there's an actual rapper by the name of Ugly God that he's actually half Dominican.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, so therefore certain people could go around and talk about that, this, that, and the third, but not all Dominicans actually settled in New York. Certain people just went other states where it was isolated, but they still have their customs and such.
Mm-hmm. You even had
Like
a
I have a
Haitian
friend.
settlement too in New Orleans.
Yep. I even had a friend that was telling me that in Chicago, certain Dominicans they actually blended in within the Puerto Rican community to the point that nobody really knew who was a Dominican or Puerto Rican because they just blended in.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, interesting.
Or
As
there's
for
even
Boston,
no, go on.
as for Boston, I went to a Dominican restaurant with my wife. It was great. After I went to visit a cousin of mine that actually resides in Boston, I guess the Dorchester section or whatever. And I could actually say that Boston shocked me. You know what I'm saying, George? I haven't seen an urban city so clean. So
I
I guess
still
that,
have yet to visit Boston, though, but I would love to check it out.
yeah. I mean, I actually have videos on my channel of the bus trip that me and my wife actually took out there. So Boston is a very interesting and beautiful place.
I'll be looking forward to checking that place out someday because I'm looking forward to at least checking out that part of New England.
Exactly.
I can afford to go anywhere at the moment, but same time, I don't want to burn up too much gas money though, because what really is going to chip into the budget quite significantly is gas. That's the number one thing that's going to do it.
Well, I'm just thinking, if you were to take well, depending on the price range or whatever, if you were to take a Amtrak from where you at to Boston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boston, they actually have like a good subway system also.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So therefore, you will not really have to burn into gas anyway.
Okay, so if that were the case, I would probably have to drive into LA and then board the train from there because I think there actually is an Amtrak station too in Evanston, Wyoming, which was also my
Right.
other spot though. So actually, yeah, I could though, but it just really depends on really where I am. But Southern Nevada, no, not so much, unless I go up to Reno.
Uh, all right.
Yeah,
I mean, if
Southern
you do,
Nevada doesn't really have that. doesn't have an
All right.
Amtrak system, unfortunately. So I have to go to Evanston, Wyoming, which is like 6.5 hour drive from at least Vegas, or just
Right.
a quick 4 hour drive to LA. But clearly, I'll rather take LA because it's shorter distance.
Right.
But yeah, that's a good point there.
Hmm.
But I'll be honest, I don't really, mind the drive though, because I think that there are apps out there that will allow you to save on gas. Because,
Right.
like this past summer, it took me about a good 27 hours to get from, Southern Nevada to Chicago. But
Right.
it can take you almost a week to get there if you're going to take Amtrak.
Yeah, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me and my wife we were actually looking into doing like a cross country trip, but then again, I'm like, I have to see how much time I have on my job in order to do that. So I'll have to see, but it's something that that me and my wife want to do, but then I have to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that everything's intact before I actually do that. I mean, on the home front, so that's all I have to
True.
make sure. Yeah.
True.
Hmm.
And then also, like, when I do plan to see those, like, like you or Jose or Abby NYC or even Gigi or Ramon,
Yep.
yeah, it's going to be on my four wheels
Right.
or whatever four wheels I'll have.
Right. And I want to actually see your dog too.
Yeah, he'll be with me.
Yeah. Because my brother-in-law actually has the same species, so I don't know if they're gonna get along. Because
Breed.
you know, yeah, the same breed. Yeah. So
He has a German
he,
Shepherd
he,
too.
he yeah, he went up and just got a German Shepherd, just a puppy. Now it's big. I'm like, geez. So I'm like, okay, he just grew out of nowhere. So you know, I don't know. I don't know. How it is because he's still young and he's still running over the place and everything. So it'll be
Hmm.
interesting if they have dog friends or whatsoever.
True. Yeah, my guy is dog friendly.
All right. Yep.
Yep. And I can certainly, as long as you give me decent internet connection and a laptop, then I can be on the go.
Got you. So it was something that Blazing was saying. What is your opinion about this? I mean, Nickel, Nickelodeon and the Disney Channel, uh, controversy that we've been hearing on the news.
Not surprised at all, though, and I think a lot of people should have been listening to those like Corey Feldman and Corey Haim.
Yeah, Corey
And
Haim passed away. And
2010.
I know,
Hmm.
yeah, and a lot of people and Corey Feldman did not really want to do that because of I guess the respect of his family. But it was just it was like maybe like around that time somebody even tried to run him off the road.
Hmm. Keep him
So
silent.
something exactly. So something's going on.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that even like I guess Drake Bell is now
Hmm.
starting to like make a testimony. But yeah, none of that stuff even surprises me at all. I knew that stuff was at least something fishy was going on, but I guess you could say suspicion has been confirmed.
Right.
And dude, man, I grew
So in
up.
your
No, go on.
I grew up technically with Nickelodeon, and I guess when it was like the first, it was because I'm gonna be honest. I'm actually like one of the last generations that did not really grow up with cable. So therefore, when I went to somebody else's house that had cable, that was a luxury.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is though, it was like I was living with my aunt. Yeah, they put in cable and stuff. I didn't know how much they paid this stuff because remind you, I'm a kid. But my
Mm-hmm.
mom didn't have cable. So therefore, when I went to like maybe my sister's crib or my cousin's crib that had cable, yeah, that was a luxury until they went up and they trying to force everybody to have cable. Like I'll say, like around like maybe later 2005 ish, 2007 ish, and whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Because my mom dealt without cable until the day that she passed away.
Right.
So my thing is that now since everybody is being forced to have an extra cable bill or not, depending if they have a messed up fire a jacked up fire stick or whatever. It's to the
Mm-hmm.
point that I'm like, okay, so you have certain people that just don't really pay for cable because it's like for what?
Yeah, that's true. So thankfully, like obviously, like I know that those like you and Gigi, you two have a decade on me. I am gonna say that.
Yeah,
So I mean that makes you and her what they call the elder
the older
millennials.
millennials.
The elder
Yeah,
or well elder or older millennials. Doesn't mean that's a bad thing, but yeah, you and her, it is different. Like the elder millennials are different than a younger millennial like me, born in the early '90s. It's pretty
yeah.
different.
I mean, yeah. You and my nieces are like the same category. To tell you the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because at least those like you and her, born in the early '80s, can still at least remember at least the late '80s. Could still have vivid memories from that time. Because I would say that the TV shows that you and her grew up on would be those like the Snorks, the Smurfs, and a pup named Scooby Doo.
exactly.
I did not grow up with those shows as a younger millennial growing up in like the mid to the late 90s. Definitely late 90s, early 2000s during my time, because my time as a younger millennial watching cartoons were shows like Dexter's Lab, Ed, and Eddie,
Yeah.
Hey Arnold, and also The Wild Thornberries, which came out in not 2008, but I meant 1998. By that
Hmm.
time, you and her and Gigi were already getting ready to start high school by that time, and that's just not stuff that you and her were really watching all that much anymore. Whereas for me, I
Exactly.
was all on that. So there is a bit of a difference when it comes to those like you and her. You and her are elder millennials that grew up just
Yeah.
in different times.
Yeah. Because older millennials, we was actually talking about Jerry Springer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jerry Springer, yep.
Right.
Because you started high school in the fall of 1997, right?
Something
Class
like
of
that. Yeah.
2001. Because you're born in what
83.
was it?
Yeah.
83. So that would mean that you had to
Yeah.
have graduated high school by 2001. So you and my sister are born the same
Well,
year. I was born in
well, I didn't
92.
really I didn't really graduate, but it's just that like certain stuff that happened within my personal life, but
Oh yeah, no worries, man.
it's just to the point that I grew up around that time era, so it was just I could say that around that time, I remember I was actually babysitting my little cousin, watching
Hmm.
Pokemon and everything like that.
That was
So
my era too.
yeah, he used to be like, "Hey, we have to go get these cars." Like, why the heck all these little kids talking about cars? And then on top of it, it was like cards that he got from Japan that cost like $200 to $400. I'm like, really?
Especially
And
the
it was like,
holographics too. Yep.
yes, the holographics with the
Yep.
that was mint condition, and everybody in Chinatown went up and they had the card trades. I cannot even fathom this to this day. Nobody does
Yep.
it no more, but I can even fathom it to this day.
And you do know that a Charizard holographic Pokemon card is probably going to be worth thousands
Like a
now.
thousand. Yes, I
Yes,
remember when it
I
was
had a
when it was when
holographic. Yeah.
I remember when they were talking about the Pikachu and the Raichu was being what when it was holographic. I was like, Dad, my little cousin, he wanted that so bad. I was like, yeah, but it's just a card. I watch the cartoons, it's all right, but I'm like, but as far as the card top of it,
Man, you are bringing me back to my time as a younger millennial. You probably would have been babysitting me
people were
too,
saying
though.
like, okay,
That
yeah,
is- you would have been, man, and then you would have
yeah,
to listen to me sing, which was "You teach me and I teach you, Pokemon, gotta catch them all." You would have to deal with that, man.
yo, but then after that, right? It was like Yu-Gi-Oh. It transferred from Pokemon. It transferred to Yu-Gi-Oh. And then everybody was on the Digimon phase, but then after that, they just
Digimon.
went up and messed up.
I
Yeah,
was a Digimon fan too. Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Yes. Man, we're going
exactly.
way back to the late 90s, early 2000s. You're going back to my era as a younger millennial.
Yeah,
But you'll remember it though. Although, yeah, you were like a high school age teenager though. You still remember it though because of you babysitting your cousin who's in my
yeah,
category. So those like
yeah,
you and Gigi would have had to just put up with me and your cousin.
yeah.
Mhm. To have to put up with it though and listen to us. Yeah,
Exactly. It was
Pikachu,
like
right?
I put. It was like everybody. Then on top of it, you have certain people that like it too. I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell you within honesty. Growing up in the hood, I never listened to Justin Timberlake or Britney Spears. I didn't see the appeal with them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I did though, even though they're not exactly from my time though. They're more
yeah,
yours and Gigi's time because both of them were born in 1981.
right. And it was like I could tell you the song that annoyed me even to this day. Oops, I did it again. And then when people made parodies of it, everybody, when Mad TV went up and made parodies of it, we laughed because we did not like that song.
Oh, well, what
And then,
about the Justin Timberlake song, or better yet, the In Sync song, since he was a part of In Sync? But what about the song "Baby Bye 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 Bye"?
yo, I was like, I'm tired of hearing this crap. And then when Eminem, and then when Eminem went up and dissed them, I was like, finally, somebody that went up and listened to our struggles. We do not like this music. It was funny.
I just have vivid memories, man, of just this third grader who started third grade in the year 2000, just
Hmm.
listening to just and watching the music video just air over TV, and the song was overplayed on the Nickelodeon program, by the way, at the time, because that's where I first got
Yes.
exposed to that music video by NSYNC, the "Baby Bye Bye Bye" song. I haven't heard that song in so long, but wow, it's
Yo,
coming back to me.
that's
And so the other songs
that's
coming out at that time, like I remember what was the other song that came out in 2002? What was it? Oh, "In the End" by Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory, their first album.
yeah. I listened to Linkin Park, but in my section was not that cool to listen to Linkin Park. So it's just
I
like a
get it.
personal thing. And the only rap at that time, I'm going to tell you, to be honest, when I was like a teenager that I actually listened to was I listened to a little bit of Ozzy Osbourne after he was on the Busta Rhymes album in 1998, Extinction Level Event.
Hmm.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. I was actually listening to that John. I was like, okay, who the heck is Ozzy Osbourne? Then I
I
just
have to
see
listen
him
to
and
that one again. I think I missed that one with.
yeah, it was not that much of a big publicized track, but that's what. But it was like okay, Buster Rhymes went up and sampled Iron Man, right?
Hmm.
So he went up and he sampled Iron Man, and the original part that Iron Man from Black Sabbath was singing and everything, he had Ozzy Osbourne in the track, and then the song is called "This Means War," right? But if you actually look at the old Iron Man stuff, it's just that, but he sampled it, and Ozzy Osbourne went up and was singing the hook. I was like, yo, this was something I never really heard before, and I like that track.
It doesn't surprise me though, because I know that the rappers at the time were really starting to bring in the rockers to be featured onto their albums, much like Jonathan Davis of Korn brought on Ice Cube.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now,
Wow.
that was to me my that I think that was some good music at that time. But now they got this guy. He had like the worst song that I ever heard. I'm like, whose man's is this? You don't take my word. Don't take my word for it. Just look for it at yourself, George. Or it's a guy who calls himself Scribbler. I guess he's from Philadelphia. He went up and made a free because now they actually have like where they have a mic and you're surrounded by a whole bunch of people.
Hmm.
This guy is actually surrounded by fiends from Kensington, and that's where he actually reps from. I'm just listening to the joint, and it was like, homie doesn't rap good, in my opinion. But then again, everybody else have their own sound.
Hmm.
But to me, I was like, what the heck? And then me and somebody who was older than me, we were just laughing at this. We were like, yo, like, come on. All right, it's a joke. Shout out to Scroll, by the way. I'm like, I'm not gonna go around and say nothing, but it's not my taste
Hmm.
in music. So
What about Blink 182? Remember them? I remember that song.
I mean, I've
All the
heard of the
small
name.
things. Basically, it
I
was
never
like,
heard of.
no, go on.
I heard of them by name, but I never really actually went to listen to their music because I was more hip hop, and then over the years, I tend not to listen to American hip hop that much. I tend to listen more of the Spanish hip hop because at first I was like, okay, like 2004 till 2007, I was like more on my reggaeton joint.
Hmm.
I listened to some American rap, but then after a while, after I seen a lot of these people who are not talented, really gave up on American rap, and then I just listened to more of the Dominican rap and some of the UK rap as well, I because there's a lot of rappers that that they're not getting the shine that they can because of United States politics or whatever.
Hmm.
But it's like at the same time, it's
Hmm.
there's other
Only
raps,
once.
there's other rappers that are not from the United States, and I still listen to them. Like for example, Socrates and Cardinal Official. I was listening to them like around 1998 before I really knew, oh, okay, who they were and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
Socrates and Most Def, they actually shared the same lady that actually gave birth to their children. So. A lot of people don't know that.
Hmm. Well, the one
Yeah,
British rapper I liked at the time was Slick Rick. He's actually originally from London before he started doing his thing in NYC.
exactly.
Slick Rick. Hmm.
Hmm. What when I was actually watching when I had cable, a rapper that I really liked was Dizzy Rascal. I don't know if he's still doing that, but then I was listening to more of that era. But then certain people they will not get it, and then you have certain people who actually straight up listen to underground rappers, and people who was listening to the mainstream rappers is like, okay, like this guy doesn't like rap. When the fact is, underground rap, underground rap was not really that prevalent on the airwaves, and but yet you have all the popular rappers that you could think of. But underground rap was straight underground. You just had to go. You just had to go really in the underground to see who was the best.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm about to wrap it up. So you got any last words, Giorgio?
Well, I would say somebody like Common is more underground, but he's more of a well-known underground rapper who could possibly transition into mainstream.
Right.
Common.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I like most Def. I like most Def and everything because sometimes you can't really be listening to the ignorant crap half the time. And then as far as the Dominican movement, I've been listening to this guy by the name of OG Sosa from the Dominican Republic. Shout out to Alicia and Patojeno Musa from the Dominican Republic as well. So he's actually a great rap artist. Know how to actually put up a good song. So got to check him out.
For sure.
Hmm.
I guess before you wrap it up, let's see here. What else should I say along the lines of music? Or TV shows. Uh, I guess the last thing I say, I do remember DMX's "We Right Here" song.
Yep, that's a classic.
Hmm. Well, R.I.P. to Earl DMX Simmons.
Yeah, RP to him. You know,
Well, that's
going. Yeah.
well, that's it.
Yep. It was nice talking to you again, Georgia. We'll talk behind the
Likewise.
scenes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alrighty.
All
Peace
right.
out.
Peace out. Well, that's all, folks. I'm about to actually have another live stream soon, so check it out.